thank Brian Cashman in the front office. But right here, in front of you, with you, is where I really feel like I'm at home.
Good morning, everybody. Today is September 16th. The Yankees are in Milwaukee tonight to take on the Brewers. Got Frankie Montas on the mound, and we know what's going to happen because they have a retractable roof, so we don't have to worry about rainouts. In this video, I'm basically going to play the highlights from recent games during our win streak and answer some voicemails, emails, and DMs that have piled up over the last couple of weeks. We're going to talk about Derek Jeter, whether or not he would make a good GM, whether or not he would even consider coming to the Yankees as a GM, and whether or not the Yankees would even replace Brian Cashman as the GM. I got a lot of criticism over the Aaron Judge video that I made yesterday. People quite angry that I said he could sign somewhere else. I got accused of clickbaiting. We'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about the roster crunch. You know, got a lot of guys coming back, but there's only so many roster spots. Who are going to be the odd men out? So got a lot of stuff to get to. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy.
Hey, man, big fan here. My name is Alex. I'm from Oklahoma. And I was just wondering, do you think that Jeter, seeing his response on Derek Jeter night, if we do get rid of Cashman, do you see Jeter becoming the Yankees GM since he's no longer with the Marlins?
Thank you for the call. This is one of those things that's gotten Yankees fans' attention, not only because more people have been calling for Brian Cashman to leave the front office, but because Derek Jeter is a beloved Yankee, and now he's got that front office experience with the Marlins. He's never going to own the Yankees. You know, I think he wanted to own a baseball team. He found out how hard it is to be a minority owner and part of an ownership group that didn't want to win. His winning mentality and his ability to evaluate and recognize talented players could be a great addition to the Yankees front office. He has helped the Marlins reset their pitching within the organization. I think he's got an eye as a great hitter, as most great hitters do, for what types of pitchers are difficult to hit. I think given the fact that the shift is going away, he could be an added piece that could talk to hitters about the value of using the entire field and not being stuck in pull mode, and kind of explain that, you know, there's lots of hits out there all over the diamond if you're willing to use the whole diamond. I don't envision a scenario where the Yankees will just fire Brian Cashman. Now, he is set to have his contract expire after the season, and so far there's been no announcement, but that doesn't mean there's no contract. I think that if Derek Jeter were willing to join the front office in kind of a utility role, and I know that's a baseball term, but somebody who can be a front office executive, give business insight, be a fan face, you know, somebody who can make appearances, throw out first pitches, kind of like Joe DiMaggio was, come to spring training, but also recognize from a player evaluation standpoint who would be a great fit for whatever the roster is they're trying to construct, and a great fit for New York. So I do think that Derek Jeter has some real value, but I don't envision him becoming the GM. However, stranger things have happened. Okay, the next thing we've got to talk about is the Aaron Judge video from yesterday. I got a lot of messages and nasty comments about the video. In case you missed it, it's a video about how the Yankees are not a 100% lock to re-sign Aaron Judge. And for the first time in the history of this channel, I had comments calling my video clickbait and nonsense. And it seemed to drum up a lot of anger from people who refused to believe that Judge could actually leave. Now, usually if people leave rude comments or DMs, I have a zero tolerance policy for that. I just hit the block button and move on with my day, because healthy people don't attack random strangers over YouTube videos. So I just don't even bother with those people. But since this particular video seemed to hit a nerve with a lot of Yankees fans, I wanted to respond to these. First of all, this channel does not do clickbait. I don't pretend to have sources that I don't, and I don't make things sound like a bigger deal than there are. Yesterday's video falls into the category of a potential outcome, speculation. Clickbait is when you advertise something and then it's something else. For instance, check out this new song by Eminem, and you click on it and it's just some whack idiot DJ Whack Beats in his room making some rap song. That's clickbait. Saying that Aaron Judge could potentially leave is 100% the truth. Besides the plethora of actual comments from Judge himself this season on the matter, a lot of them very non-committal, some of them more concerning to Yankees fans than others, I think there's plenty of anecdotal evidence that the Yankees may not outbid everyone for Judge, regardless of how good a season he's having. Brian Cashman has been drawing lines in the sand for years where he will not go beyond a certain value. That was all I was trying to show with that video, that the Yankees don't necessarily give a guy a contract just because the fans like him or just because he had a statistically significant season. And I also wanted to point out that other teams are now in a financial position to outbid the Yankees should they choose to. Not every team, most teams can't, but the Dodgers can, and the Mets can, and possibly the Padres can. I will never clickbait you guys. That's not what this channel is about. This channel reacts to actual games, actual news, and when I'm posting a rumor or speculation, I always try and make it very clear that that's what I'm doing. Anyone claiming to know 100% what's going to happen with Aaron Judge in this situation is simply mistaken. Nobody can predict the future. If Aaron Judge tore his ACL tomorrow, that would change the calculus completely. And if he hits 10 home runs in the playoffs en route to a World Series MVP after breaking Roger Maris's record, that also changes the equation significantly. There's just too many variables out there to know. Also, to the people who are angry that I would even bring up the possibility, and a few people suggested that I was trying to force Aaron Judge to leave, which is outrageous. I wanted to say that a lot more than just Yankees fans watch this channel. We've got baseball fans from all other teams and all over the world, and not everybody stays as in tune with the Yankees as a lot of you do. And my job as a content creator is to make videos that apply to as large an audience as possible. So occasionally, I'll reach out to the audience and kind of tell them what's up with what's on a lot of Yankees fans' minds. In this case, that Judge could leave. And I definitely was in that mindset when I was creating the video. So, in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that.
Hey, Derek, it's Shane out here in Idaho. Appreciate your program. Appreciate a chance to say this, have this put on record somewhere. There'll be two Aarons next year for the Yankees, Hicks and Boone.
Hey, thanks for the call, Shane. I really hope you're wrong. I really hope that next year Aaron Judge is back with the Yankees. As for Aaron Hicks, I think that he could be one of the guys that goes when the roster crunch begins to take effect next week. Harrison Bader coming back and Oswaldo Cabrera playing as well as he does in the outfield, and also having Miguel Andujar and Estevan Florial on the roster. I just don't think you need Aaron Hicks anymore. He's proven that he's not hitting. He's batting just .209 with no power to speak of. He's barely hit more home runs than Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. And he's proven that he's a liability in the outfield, or they wouldn't have even traded for Bader. He can't play center, and he can't play left. Don't even think about putting him in right field with Judge and Cabrera ahead of him on the defensive spectrum. I just don't see any need for Aaron Hicks on this roster. Now, yeah, he can go in late in the game and maybe draw a walk, but that's about the only value that he holds. And frankly, I would rather have whatever Harrison Bader can bring. I would rather not have to send down a Peraza or a Cabrera to keep Aaron Hicks on this roster. I get that he makes a lot of money. I get it. But at some point, you just got to DFA him and bite the bullet. It sounds like we've got Aroldis Chapman coming back. It sounds like Zach Britton could be on his way back. Luis Severino is on his way back. So there's going to be a bit of a roster crunch, and it'll be interesting to see how the Yankees configure things. We already saw Domingo Germán pitching out of the bullpen the other night. I think with Severino coming back into the rotation, Germán goes to the bullpen, and he allows you to sort of fill those middle innings if somebody goes shorter, 4 innings maybe. He can come in and pitch the 5th, 6th, 7th and get you deep into the game so you can get to your high leverage relievers. There might be some uncomfortable moves. You know, you might see guys like Clark Schmidt or Ron Marinaccio have to be optioned in order to make room for some of these guys as they come back. Honestly, with Zach Britton, I would just let him continue to pitch in the minor leagues. And, you know, at this point, at least until you have the division wrapped up, just keep him in the minor leagues. You don't need to, you know, put any extra stress on that elbow. He hasn't done much to contribute all year. And I get that he's still under contract for another few weeks. But at this point, you're probably not going to re-sign him. Just let him continue the season in AAA. As far as Aroldis Chapman goes, it'll be interesting to see how he pitches when he comes back. He looked good there for a bit, but he's been really up and down all season. And I wouldn't trust him in a playoff spot. I think the Yankees would probably include him on a playoff roster. But I'm not sure that's the best move. I think I would rather have somebody like Clark Schmidt or Domingo Germán, somebody who throws more strikes coming out of the bullpen. So we'll see how it works out. Yankees take on the Milwaukee Brewers tonight. Again, thanks for the voicemails. Thanks for the emails and DMs. And tune in after the game for the post-game recap show, and I'll see you then.